Hello everyone and welcome back. This is part 3 of the Flutter journey series that we started earlier, where we are building a real-world YouTube clone application using Flutter. So last time around we left it at this stage wherein when I run the application, let me show it to you, it makes an API call to the YouTube API data service and fetches the data. And you could see while it was getting the information, it was showing a nice loading screen. And once the data has been retrieved, it is currently showing just a simple text box which is saying data has been loaded. And this is the count of the number of videos that we downloaded from the API service. So you can see over here, this is just a hard-coded information that we have put in. Now in the API, you recall we are only downloading 10 videos at a time, and then you will see we will also be implementing infinite scrolling. So every time you keep on scrolling to the bottom, it will go and fetch the next 10 videos and next 10 and so on, so that upfront we do not wait for huge data to be downloaded. Now this was just a placeholder, and this is where we are now going to start building the actual content. So you can see over here right now it is just showing a text. Let me put a comma over here and save so that it formats it nicely. So just to run through, basically in our application all we are doing is we are just calling this function which is actually building our user interface. So the things that we are doing here, we are checking if the views model is in the error state, then we are displaying an error indicator. If the view model is busy fetching the data, we are displaying that animation box. And if the data has been loaded, if we go back to our view model, once we have downloaded the data, once we have received the data, I am setting the data loaded equals to true. Only when the data has been loaded, then we will start returning the actual content for the user, which is currently a hard-coded text message. So one thing to start with, you will notice first of all, it is bound to the very edges, because we have not put in any padding at all. So let me actually go ahead and let me pad it. So I can simply go here and I can say wrap it with padding. And now here you can see I can give padding. The edge insets.all is padding on all sides, so 8 pixels on all the 4 sides. But this is not what I want. Instead, what I want to do is I want to be very specific. So I want to say from left, top, right, bottom, I want to specify 16 pixels on the side, 4 from the top and nothing at the bottom. So I can give specific paddings. And now you can see if I run the application, let me run the application. So this time around, when I run the application, you can see that there is 16 pixels on both sides and 4 pixels from the top. Let me close this. Okay. So now we have a text. This is not what we want to return. We actually want to return something useful. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to return a column instead of a text. What are we going to have in a column? So the column, as I showed you, it is a list of widgets or list of controls, one on top of each other. So this is what we want to return. So it will have a children property, and the children for this will be what are the things that we want to put in. At the very top, I want to put in a search bar. So this search bar is something that we will build as well. So let me just currently put a placeholder. Let me put a text box, and I'm going to call it search bar will appear here. So let me save this. You can see there is a placeholder. I'm just putting something, search bar will appear here. Now after that, I want to have a list of the videos displayed over here, and then at the bottom we will also put something when we implement infinite scrolling. But right now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put spacing in between. So for that I'm going to use a sized box, and I'm going to use a height of let's give it a height of say 8. So we have got a height of 8, and then after this what we want to do is we want to put in, and why is it giving me do not use curly braces? Let's just put in these warnings so that they disappear. Okay. After this, the third thing that we want to put in the actual list box or list view, where we are going to show list of all the videos, all the YouTube videos that we retrieved. For this, we are going to use a list view, but for this I am not going to type in all of this over here. Rather, I would keep it in a separate control. So I'm going to build in another function for this. So let's go back over here, and I'm going to build another function. I'm going to call it widget build video list, and this is for the time being just going to return a text box for me. Video list will appear here. I'm just going to return this, and now this is what I'm going to put in over here. So if I go back to my video list, so our video list is going to appear here. So we just put in something. Basically what I have done, I have just abstracted it so that it is easier for me to decode the user interface. Now after this, I'm going to put in another spacer, and or let's do something, let's leave that for now. We'll come back to this. Now one of the things that I'm going to also do, I'm going to wrap this into an expander view, because the list view is going to take up all the rest of the space starting from here till here. So I'm going to wrap it in another widget, and I'm going to call it expander. Sorry, expanded, my mistake, expanded. So I'm going to put it into an expanded view. So now this is going to take up the whole screen below. Now we can go back and we can start building this component over here, which is the build user interface for our videos list. So this is going to be simply a list view, as I was saying. So I'm going to say list view dot builder. So all it takes is an item, in fact a couple of properties. One is an item builder and the other is an item count. So the item count, what is my item count? Let's start with that. So my item count is actually my view model, the view model that I got, dot YouTube videos dot length. So if we, let me save this first so that it appears nicely. So if we go back to our start page view model, we are storing our YouTube videos list into a list of YouTube video, and we are calling this as YouTube videos. So the length of this list box to start with is the length of the videos, which will be coming as 10. What is the item builder? Item builder is how you will build the user interface. So the item builder actually takes, we can create it as an anonymous function. It takes two components. One is the build context and the other is the index. So for each item that we receive, we can build in our user interface. So how are we going to build this? So we will say final. We can declare our video as video equals to view model dot YouTube videos and at the index 0. So this is our YouTube video, and you can see it is coming as YouTube video because that is what the list is of. And then once we have this video, I can actually go ahead and I can, maybe to keep it simple, I can create another function, build video cell, and I can pass in this video. Either I can do it like this, or I can just pass in this whole thing over here to keep it simple. Now currently we do not have this, so let's actually go ahead and build this function as well. Just like we built that widget, we will build another widget, build video cell, and this will be a YouTube video, and we can call it video. And right now let me just return a text. So text, and I can say video title is, and I can display video dot snippet. Okay, I will need to import the library video dot snippet dot title. And since this can be, these are non-nullable fields, so we need to put null safety check over here. Let me just save this, or rather let's go back and run this. There is still an error over here. So we still have an error because here I should be returning this. So return this. So now you can see it is showing me the list of my 10 videos that we have received. We can even go ahead and remove this just to see the video titles. So here you can see these are the 10 videos that we received back from the API call. Now this is something that we want to enrich now. Instead of just showing as text, we should be showing it as, you know, with the image, with the title, with the channel information, and so on. So let's actually go ahead, and for that we are going to use a card widget. So card widget is a widget which allows you to build a card. It has a background color, it has an elevation, it has shadow, and it looks very nice. So let me show you how we can build this. I can say, first of all, what is the color that I want to give for this? Maybe I'll use the card fill color. Okay, let's actually go ahead and save this because we do not have any child. It is not showing anything right now. So the color, I can give it an elevation of 8 pixels so that it looks nice. I can have, let me give it a shape, and I can give it a rounded rectangle shape. Rounded rectangle border, and in this border I can give it a border radius of dot all, so on all the sides. So border radius dot all, on all the sides I can give it a border radius of radius dot circular. So let's say radius of 12, and I am using one extra somewhere. And for the child, just to show you how it is going to look like for the child, I am going to put, this should be outside. So child, I can put in a text box which is hello for now. So you can see it is created, it has created this card. Right now it is not looking very nice, but once we start filling in the information, it will start making sense. So for the child, what we are going to do, we are going to wrap it in a column. So again, because we want to display this different information, so it's going to be a column, and in this we are going to have the children. So what are the children? So the very first thing that we want to display is we want to display the actual image which we are getting from the internet for this video. So this image I'm going to display, but I want to use a specific aspect ratio. If nothing else, if I just want, I can simply say image dot from network, and I can provide in my URL, which is coming as video dot snippet dot thumbnails dot, let's say, hi dot URL, right? And since these are all nullable fields, I should apply the null safety operators here. Let me save this. So you can see at least now the images have started coming in. So you can see all the images are there. So these are the 10 videos that we got, but they are taking up all the space and it is not looking very nice. So what do we want to do? We want to first of all ensure that the aspect ratio for this is correct. So to do this, let's actually put in a comma over here so that it wraps it properly for us. I want to wrap this in an aspect ratio. So aspect ratio. So this is the child now. Let's go ahead and put a comma, and for the aspect ratio I am going to use an aspect ratio of 16:9, because all the images which are coming are in the size 16:9. So I'll be using an aspect ratio of 16:9, or we can use something different if you want. Maybe you want to change it to 9:5. You can change whatever you want. Now, one of the things that we are seeing over here right now is that it is not taking up the full space. I want it to take the full space. So for this, what we are going to do, we are going to use a padding first of all, or no, wait a minute, let's see. We need to specify a width or a height. Do we have fit cover here? Yeah, so we used boxfit.cover, and this is what it has done this. But right now it is not looking very nice. We will need to style it a little bit more. But before that, what we will do, the very first thing I will do, I want to, inside this card, I want to have a padding so that this image is a little bit inside. You remember we had put in a border and an elevation. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it with a padding, and not the container. Let me undo this with the padding, and the padding that we are going to give, we can give a padding on all the sides as 8. Yeah, we can leave it as 8. That's fine. So now you can see we have got this rounded card that we created with the rounded edges, and there is actually a shadow over here as well. Now we will make it look a little bit better as we go along. So just bear with me for the time being. So this is the image. This image is something that we are going to come back to, and I will show you the problem. So let me just actually restart the application and show you what happens. So you see, if I restart again, depending on the internet, it actually takes time to load the images, and sometimes you can see the flickering in between. Every time it is going to the internet and fetching these images. So we will fix that. We will cache the images locally, so it will only make the the call to the internet once to download the images, and then these images will be served from the local cache. And while the image is loading, for example, if my internet connection was very slow, you will be seeing an empty space for a long time, and then suddenly the image will appear. Instead, what this control will do, it will show you maybe a progress indicator that something is happening right now. The image is being loaded, and once the image has or data has been downloaded, it will slowly fade in the image on the screen, so it will look much better. So this is the image that we will come back to and we will revisit. Once we have the image done, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some spacing. Maybe I'll put a height of say 12, and this is next where we are going to put in the text. So let's actually go ahead and create another column. So I'm going to create another column, and in this column I'm going to, or rather I will create a row, and in this row I am going to have a few items. So as I said, columns are stacked one on top of each other, rows are going horizontally from left to right. So this time around I'm going to use a row, and inside I'm going to have my children property, and for my children I am going to, let's go ahead and put in, let me start with a column. So I'm going to put in a column just to show you what I'm planning to do. So I'm going to put in a text, and the text title would be video snippet, and we need to actually display the channel title over here. We don't have the channel title, so I'm going to say channel. No, we should have a channel title. Let me actually go and see if we have it. Video dot snippet dot channel title. Yes, we do have the channel title. So we have a channel title, and I am going to style it. So for the style, we should be making it a little bit big. So let's give it K medium light 14, shall we? So we can see this is the title of the channel. 14 looks a bit small to me. Let's try to make it bigger, and yeah, this probably looks a bit better. And what we will also do is we will make sure that it is only using up one line, and if there is an overflow, if the text is more than one line, we will be using the text overflow dot ellipsis. So let us see if we have any channel title which is big. In our case, all the channel titles are small, so not an issue. So this is one text that I want to display, and beneath that I want to display the actual title of the video. So snippet dot title, let's put null safety, and for this I can style it with we can make it smaller, so K regular light 14 should work. And maybe the same thing we can do over here. Max lines is 1, and in case if there is an overflow, we can say text overflow dot ellipsis. Let's see. Yeah, so right now you can see we have got the channel title, and we have got the title of the video, but they are all center aligned. This is the default behavior of the column. So we want to make it start from the beginning. So for that, in the column, what we can do is we can go and we can change it. We can change the cross axis alignment to be cross axis alignment dot start. So if I now say start, they are now starting over here. So what is the next thing that we are going to do? One thing that maybe you are seeing over here, that it is showing you this yellow box over here, that this is overflowing because it is trying to take up more space. So what we should be doing, we should be actually wrapping this inside of an expanded widget. So let me wrap it in an expanded widget. Let me just save. So now you can see it is taking up the only maximum allowed space that it has from the beginning till the end. And if the video title is longer, it is showing ellipses at the end. Once I have this column, maybe another thing that I want to do after this column is I want to go ahead and I want to put some space. So maybe I'll use a size box, and this time I'm going to use a width because I want it on horizontal side. So maybe I'll put a space of 12, and now I want to display an icon, so that just to show you that there is, you can click on it, or you can click on this image and it can take you to another page. So let's put in an icon for that. I'm going to put in an icon, and for this I'm going to use icons dot arrow forward iOS. Let's use arrow underscore forward iOS, and I can give it a size of 16 pixels, and the color I can define for this as my light color. Yep. So here you go. So we can see we have got the title of the channel, we have got title of the video, and we have a nice arrow on the side. One thing that we also want to do over here, before this, we also want to put in the image of this channel. For example, for Mr. Who's the Boss, or for iJustine, or for Apple, we want to display the channel image or the channel logo. Unfortunately, in the API call that we made earlier, we do not have the channel image coming in. If we go to our models, we do not have, in the snippet, we only have the channel title, we do not have the channel image. So we need to make another API call to fetch these channel logos. So let's actually go ahead and do that. So to get the channels, we can go and use another API, which is this channels API, and we can go ahead and we can try it. We can provide it some ID, and then if we provide it with an ID, it will give us with an information. So let me actually go ahead and search for a channel. Let's use this channel, and we provide this in the ID. Execute, and here you can see it now returns us the result. We can use the same thing. We can copy this, we can paste it in JSON to dot converter, and then we can create a model for it. So let's actually go ahead. I have already done that. Let me go and put in these models. So these are the models that we had earlier for our YouTube video. Now for the channel, I am going to create, or rather let's do that. So let's copy, search for JSON to Dart. Let's paste this over here, and we will call it channel search result. Generate the dot code. So copy to clipboard, and once it is done, I'm just going to bring it over here. I'm going to put in a comment saying these are my channel models. So what do we have in the channel models? So we have the channel search result. In the channel search result, as we said, I'm not bothered about any of this extra information. I only want the channel information, so we can actually go ahead and remove this. Similarly, since we have removed this, I can go ahead and remove these, and then the two JSON functions we do not need. So to simplify this, page info, we said we will not be needing the page info at all. The items is something that we will need, but we will rename that to channel because that looks much better than just calling it item. Once we have this channel, let's go ahead and fix it everywhere. So I do not need this to JSON. So this also become my channel. This becomes my channel. Oh, sorry, it's not paste. I did not copy, my mistake. I am forced to use both Windows and Mac, so it becomes a confusion between the command and control field. So here we go. In the channel, the only thing I'm bothered about is just the ID and the snippet. And in fact, I think one of the mistakes that I made is I should have brought in statistics as well. So let's actually go ahead and fix that. I'm going to remove this, and I need both the snippets as well as the statistics. So let's execute now. Copy, go back, paste it, generate the code, copy the code, and let's come back over here now. So let's start from the beginning. Did it bring in statistics? Yes. So yes, we do not need any of this. We can get rid of it. Let's clean it up. By the way, what I will be doing at the end of this, I'll be posting all of this code on my GitHub, and I will share the link to the GitHub repo with you. So I'm going to rename this to channel, and now I'm going to use the correct shortcuts. So items, and I do not need the toJSON method. We can get rid of it. I am only bothered about the ID, the snippet, and the statistics. Statistics right now we do not need, but in the subsequent views you will notice that we will need the statistics to show how many subscriber count is there when we go to the video detail page. So that is the reason I'm bringing in statistics, but at this stage I do not need statistics. Snippet we already have, and these are all the fields which are already available, so I can simply go ahead and delete it. Thumbnails are already there as well. I can go ahead and delete it. I do not need anything. Localize we do not need. Statistics is something that we need, but in statistics we only need the view count and the subscriber count. The number of videos that this channel has I'm not interested in, or even the hidden subscribers. We can get rid of this. So let's clean it up a bit, and the thumbnails, it goes away. So basically this is what we have brought in: the channel search result, which has a list of channels. Each channel has an ID, the snippet which has the same details as the title, the images, etc., and it also has statistics which we will use at a later stage. So these are the additional models that we brought in. Once we have these, we need to actually go and get these channel IDs. So for that we are going to go to our services, and we are going to create another method very similar to this one, but this time it is going to return us the channel search result. So in fact, let's actually do that. Let's copy this for now, and we will start changing it. So instead of this, I will call it get channels, and it is going to return me channel search result instead of the video search result. and for the input it is going to take just a string, which is channel IDs. So it is only going to take channel IDs, and the resource URI, instead of search we will be using channels, and this is what you can get from here. If we go back, show code, so this is what we have. Channels part is equal to snippet and statistics. So part is equal to snippet comma statistics. Max results is 10, we can leave it at that, and we do not need the query. Instead of the query we will need to pass in the IDs of the channels. So ID equals to the channel IDs. We do not need type is equal to video, everything else remains the same. We don't have the next page token, and once we have received this we can convert and return the result back. So we have added another service which is making an API call to the channels REST API and returning us the information about the channels. Once we have this, we need to go back to our view models. This is our view models, and once we have downloaded list of all the videos, so here we have received or downloaded list of all the videos. We are doing it over here, and what we need to do for each of these videos, we need to actually go ahead. So video search result is where we have list of all the video list downloaded, and we need to find out what are all the different channel IDs. So for this I can create my list of channel IDs. So channel IDs is equal to my video search result dot items dot since we have the videos, but I need to only get out the channel ID, so I can actually go ahead and map it as a string. So this is going to be the video. For each video I am going to get video dot snippet dot channel ID, because I already have the channel ID but not the channel image. So I will get this list of all this, and then once I have this I can join it with a comma. So at the end it will produce some channel IDs like this. So assuming if the channel ID was 1 2 3 4 5, one channel, the second channel ID was 4 5 6 7 8, comma. So this is how it will produce or give me the 10 different channel IDs. Once I have these channel IDs, I can go ahead and I can get them. So I can say channel search results is equal to await underscore API service dot get channels, and I can pass in my channel IDs, and this will give me all these channels, the details about these channels, which is a channel search result over here. Now what I can do is I can actually, for my video search results dot items, and if they're not nullable, dot for each. So what I can do, I can go ahead for each of the video item, I can go ahead and I can call some function. I can set the channel name or the channel image URL. So where do we get this channel image URL? Let me actually go back to the YouTube model, and in our snippet we had only the channel title. So I am going to create another local variable. Let me just call it local property or variable. This is not coming from JSON. I'm going to call it string channel image URL, right? So what we actually need to do is, for each of the items we need to set the channel, so video dot snippet dot channel image URL, we need to set it to something, right? we need to set it to something for the time being. Now, how do we get this? I am going to paste in some code over here because I don't want to type. So this is my channel search results. So this channel image URL is coming from my channel search results dot items dot where my channel ID is equal to my video channel ID. So I only get that item, and then I say the first item of that sorry, dot snippet dot thumbnails dot medium dot URL. I'm not taking the high resolution one because, as you will see, we are displaying it in a very small format. I do not want to display or take high resolution image. Yep. So if I put everything in one line, this is how it will look like, but it is breaking it up into multiple lines the moment I save. So now I have my channel image URL. If I go back to my start page now, and before we have put in this the channel title, maybe I can put in maybe another sized box with the width of how much width did we give? 12. So I can give a width of 12, and here I can put in an avatar view, a rounded circle to display this image. Now for displaying this image, what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to go ahead, or before that let me show you, I can actually bring in this image just to show you how it looks like. So let's just bring in over here, and then I will show you how to make it look nice. And this is going to be .snippet channel image URL. So let's actually save this. We will need to rerun. Error check operand used on a null value. So you can see over here right now it is showing this like this. Maybe I can specify the height of this to just 24. So it is not looking very nice, and I should not have put it in my column. I should actually have gone ahead and put it in the row. Where is our row? Yes, I should have put it over here in my row. So here it is showing. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Maybe the size should be 32. So you can see we are showing the icon of the channel, but this is coming in as square. We should actually be showing it as a rounded image. So let me actually go ahead and let me stop this, and for this I'm going to go to pub.dev, and I'm going to make use of another package called avatar view. This allows you to create nice looking circular images with borders. So I'm going to just copy this, go back to our pubspec.yaml, and I'm going to include this dependency and save this. Once it has downloaded, so it is downloading the package. It has downloaded. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to copy this for now, this, and I'm going to remove this image.network, and I'm going to replace this with my avatar view. So avatar view takes in a few parameters. So first of all, radius, I'm going to give it a radius of 16. And let's actually bring this over here. Radius of 16. I can give it a border width of 1. I can give it a border color of light border color. I can specify avatar type as avatar type dot circle. I want to use circular view. And the background color, I can use it as colors dot transparent. And then for the image path, I will use, this is my image path. And additionally, what I can also provide is I can provide a placeholder. So this is where placeholder is, while the image is being downloaded, it can show a circular progress bar if you want, or something else. But here it is too small an area, as you can see over here. Even if you put a circular bar, it's not going to matter much, and that's one of the reasons I'm using the medium image quality. So for this, I'm just going to resort back to just a container, not showing anything. And similarly, in case unable to download the image, we can show an error image as well, but I'm just going to show a container. So let me go ahead and run this again, and we can see this in action now. So it is loading up. So yeah, now you can see it is looking much better. In fact, if we want to make it a little bit bigger, we can do that. Let's try with size 20. Perhaps 20 is too big. 18 just looks about right. So you can see at least that bottom page, or the bottom part, is looking very nice. The next thing we need to do is we need to fix this image. So let me actually go and refresh this, and you will notice it took a while for the images to load up, and even the images would flicker. So we need to apply caching to these images. This is what we will do in our next video. So till next time, see you everyone.